What's up guys? You'll never know, but this is actually take two. My boy Jason's here. We're gonna film a video talking about futures, what those are. It was an amazing week for trading on the 15-minute chart, carved out an amazing range. Yeah, so that's it. We're gonna jump down to my balcony. I'll show you my balcony real quick. We're gonna go film down there. It'll be dope, probably. Got the plant set up, saw my other video I just moved. So yeah, appreciate you stopping by. Let's go make some content. I know the audio is bad because we're using the mic for the other camera, but you guys can see how this goes. That's a serious version of a tripod. Codename Tripod Serious.
You know your tripod's serious when it comes with like extra random ass attachments?
Right? I do like this one, like it's sturdy at least, but it is
good build quality.
Pain to travel with. Let's put this right here. I'm gonna shoot them quick.
No, you're good, man. I'm just looking at the spot. Sure. And there's like this area here that I didn't know existed either.
Ready to go in 3, 2.
Futures are a popular type of financial instrument that allows investors to trade on the future price of underlying assets such as commodities, stocks, or bonds. In this video, I'm gonna try and not be looking at my iPad the entire time, but
I mean, your eyes are behind the sunglasses, so it doesn't matter.
yeah, so
Automatically looks like you're looking at the camera. As long as your face is facing towards the camera, then you can just look down like this. That's what I was thinking. I was like, is that like this?
Going outside. All right, so I just wrapped up filming with Jason. March 10th. It was an amazing trading day, and I'm gonna talk about the best trades for the day. A lot of people ask me, are curious how these trades get set up. So let's do that now. I'm going to go ahead and record my screen. Screen is being recorded. Also, we're outside on the balcony. It's a nice little view here. So one of the things I say in all my videos, guys, is be super duper patient, wait for the trades to come for you, don't find trades. One of the other things that came up in the Discord this week was talking about, or even just DMs, people DM me like, hey, what's your daily profit target? I have an average goal, a heuristic, right, of 1,500 bucks a day, right? But I don't try to get that every day. What I try to do is just find the trade and then manage those trades every day. You can basically back into a goal, but you shouldn't try to drive into a goal. You shouldn't try to focus so much on hitting that daily goal because sometimes the trades just aren't there, right? Which is why I think that having a daily profit target is bad, right? Instead, you should look at, okay, what is my win rate? What is my average trade size? And based off of that, what is an appropriate amount of money that I can make every day based off of how I perform as a trader? In any case though, our chart is broken. So if you use TradingView, and TradingView is, amazing charting software. It's free, right? There are paid plans, but just go to tradingview.com. You can try it out. If you're looking at ES, the ticker changed from the March contracts to, I think, June. So if you want to stay on the March contracts and not have this big break in your chart right here, then you need to go and type in ESH 2023. And now the chart looks better, right? So this doesn't have all my levels, but let's actually just remove these levels for now. We'll remove our drawings. And there's really just a few lines that I want to add here. So there's here, there is this support. Let's just call this pre-market low. Here was the base. We had the lows here. So if we replay this action from here, we're on the 16-minute, that's weird, 15-minute chart, and we hit play, here's what we're gonna get. All right, so there's a huge sell-off, pause, right? So we get to this point here, right? There was this huge sell-off in price action, right? There's a sell-off here, whoa. So we have this big sell-off here at the open, right? This is 8:30, came down, and this range here was actually, about 64 points. So a lot of opportunity there, right? If you were up before pre-market and you saw this pivot form here, I'm always talking about pivots on the 15-minute chart. This is a trade. So let's actually go back. Let's go back to here, okay? So this bar forms, let's just go forward a bar, this bar forms. So at this point, I'm looking to go short, right? We had a really strong green candle. We hit this. Presumably I would have a level here already, right? I know I did it in this case. But if we're hitting a level up here at this price area, I'm looking to go short, right? We had this candle form. Let's go ahead and step forward one more time. And you see that we get that full candle down. You're not always gonna get such a full bodied candle. I mean, this was like a 15-point move here. But those are the types of setups that I'm looking for on the 15-minute chart, right? These pivot areas, these strong bases. You can see that the open and close of these candles are equal versus being staggered. So we move forward, we step forward, we get a doji, right? So this is a strong doji. This is a doji candle, sign of indecision. When you see that, and the reason that that is an indecisive candle is because we have the wicks on both sides, right? So the candle opened and it closed. There was a ton of movement, but within that period of this candle, it ended up closing very close to where it opened, right? So the market couldn't really move it within that time window, which means whatever the current trend is might be reversed, right? That's how you read that. Step forward, heavy continuation down to pre-market lows. So we had the doji, explosive at the open, right? So this might be confusing because we had a doji, but then this is right before market opens. So market opens, we know that there's always a ton of volume there. So we continued in this case, and then we played out. Okay, so now we're here, right? We put in another huge bottom wick. Here's where you're gonna wanna go long, right? So I wanna go long here because we have this strong bottom wick. Let this play out. We see we get a double bottom here. So if I went long here, could have captured, let's just say worst case scenario, that's about 15 points. If you would have got out at the top of that wick, came back down, we get a double bottom, and you see it pops back up. So I'm just gonna let this play out, right? And you can kind of see now where there's some clear range and clear pivots in the market. And I wanna talk about this here. So let's go back to, we'll pause, and I wanna jump to, here. So at this point in the market, it's 12:30, it's midday. We can see that we have a very clear range, right? We had a double bottom here, which gave us a very strong trade to the upside. Always be looking for this, especially on the longer time frame, guys. If you see something like this form, I mean, that's a trade that you're gonna wanna take every time, right? These double bottoms. Technicals in general work better on the longer time frames, right? So if you're looking at bull flags, pennants, your wedges, your triangles, all of those always do better on the longer time frame versus your shorter time frames. I don't know why I decided to record this video outside. Coffee break. My studio is still a mess, so well, it's not really even a studio right now, it's just a room full of stuff. But yeah, all the technicals work better on the longer time frames. So if you want to try and use them effectively, definitely incorporate volume analysis with your technicals, it'll work better. But definitely do them on the longer time frames. So 15 minutes isn't that long, so if you go even longer, like a 30-minute, 1 hour, it will work even better there. So we have this small double bounce, right? We have this area here, which looks like it might move back up, but let's move forward. Okay, so we broke all lows in the PM, right? This is a very bearish setup, right? So I want to note this here. A few things happening. We broke low of day. 2, it is the afternoon. This means bearish. Okay, now barring there could be some strong like support here, you can see that we do have this bottom wick here, which we should look out for. And then we're gonna want to look back even further and see if there's some other touches here. But in general, just looking at this within the context of this session and of this day, this is a bearish setup, right? So we broke through into new lows. So I'm looking for a continuation here. Also, the other thing that we should keep in mind is the volume profile at this moment in time. So let's go ahead and get rid of CVD, and let's just add in the fixed range volume profile, going back 2 sessions. We can see it's there, and we'll add in the fixed range volume profile, going back even further. All right, never mind, because the indicator is broken on this chart. If this was working correctly, and I'm not sure why that's doing that right now, you would see that there's an L shape, right? An L-shaped volume profile, which means that the high volume nodes are on the bottom, right? And I'll just draw it out. So you have your volume profile with a bunch of bars, but it basically would look like an L. L is because all this volume here, right, is near the bottom. It's near the bottom of this profile. Then you have all these volume bars up here, kind of like this, right? So that's how you get your L-shaped volume profile. That is the discount version, but that's what that looks like, right? And that's bearish in itself, right? So we have this L-shaped volume profile. We have a break of lows into the day. I'm looking for continuation here. And what happens with the next candle? We see we have this downward movement and then this huge break to the downside, right? So we have a shooting star in a waterfall. So this is pretty important here. The fact that, let me just zoom in. I'm gonna put a option J. See this white line where this level is? Candle close, candle open, right? So it's almost a clear follow-on candle. We have this strong wick, but the fact that this formed in a waterfall means that we can continue the waterfall. It's just a continuation of this expectation to be bears. At this point, we have a ton of confirmation, right? And by this point, I mean, I'll move a white line here. So at this point, we have a ton of confirmation at 38.80, and you should be short, right? So you go short here, this comes down to, you know, the best trade 38.58, which is, I'm just not going to do math, 22 points, right? If you're trading 2 TS, if you're trading 2 ES, 22 points, that's $2,000, right? One trade, and you would have had to wait. Let's say that's your only trade for the day, guys. And this is why I want to really call out just the importance of patience. If that one trade was the only trade of the day, and it took you 3 hours and 45 minutes to get it, to make that $2,000, just waiting and watching, right? And there's these two here, you know, catching these pivot to pivots. There's some chop in there. This waterfall trader, this momentum trade, really nice trade to catch. And that'll get you $2,000, a little over $2,000, right? So what happened the rest of the day? We dropped down, we touched this level down here. Actually did have a level down here, which was a nice bounce. Now let's go ahead and hit play and see what happens. So we rejected this level, pushed up a little bit, some bar coding, some heavy bar coding, and the market close was over here. So now we're actually past market close, and then, you know, the 15 minutes after. So this is an amazing trading day overall. Some really clear setups. You can see that we even formed a range down here, right in this area. This is a solid range. So a ton of opportunity to trade. If this is a hard day for you, that's okay. I mean, one of the things you'll always hear me say in my Discord is you shouldn't try to trade every day. You know, don't try to make money every day. Instead, think about growing your portfolio. Think of your portfolio as a garden that you tend to, and it's going to grow over time, right? If you try to force growth, you can damage your portfolio. And that's what will happen. I've done it. I've been there. Everybody's been there. So just be really careful with trying to force trades. Do not force trades in the market. Be very patient. Wait for days like this, right? This is a great day to trade overall. We compare this to this session, right? Look at this session on Thursday, right? Markedly different. It's a trend day. If you would have caught the trend, it was great, but there's no range, right? There's not much to work with here on the 15-minute chart, right? Same here. Not much to work with here on the 15-minute chart. You're not always going to get, this is a nice, right? You had a nice little double top here. You could catch that. That's clear. If you want to trade on the 15-minute chart like I do, I'm very patient. You'll see me call out scalps and things like that in the Discord, but you have to implement patience if you want to catch these big trades, you know. And I just talk about 2 ES. You know, once you get better, you don't try this at all. If you post a bad trade after I tell you not to, guys, I'm not going to have sympathy for you. I just won't. I'm very straightforward. But once you get better, you know, you can go 4 ES, 5 ES, and really start making bank. And then you don't have to trade every day, right? You make $5,000 in one day, maybe you don't trade the next day, make $1,500 2 days later, so on and so forth, right? So take your time, implement patience, and make smart decisions. Journal your trades. So part of this activity for me when I do these trade reviews, I'm working through these trades, but it's also a practice for me, honestly, right? So I do this even when I'm not filming, but when I'm filming, you know, the practice of me doing this helps me understand and, you know, really engrave in my mind these setups for the future. And it's something that you should be doing too. For those of you in my Discord, when you see this video, but I think it's funny when I talking to people, I'm like, okay, well, you know, what are you doing to improve your trading outside of trading? And it's crickets. There's nothing, right? People aren't journaling. They're not reviewing their setups. They're not looking at their past trades. You know, you imagine you lose a trade and you don't know what happened and then you do nothing about it. That's crazy. That doesn't make any sense. It's the only reason you're not doing that is because you're afraid of confronting your prior decision making and facing that loss. But it actually makes no sense. Like, think about that. Think about if somebody was like, man, I just can't figure this out. And you're like, well, what have you done to figure it out? It's like, well, I've done nothing. I've done absolutely nothing to figure it out. It doesn't make any sense, right? So that's 99% of people trading, and it's because of ego, it's because of fear, it's because of all of these emotions that get bottled up with trading, which ultimately you have to get rid of, right? And I'll go ahead and end this. Yeah, check out my mindset videos, join the Discord. It's growing, it's popping. You know, I'm here to help. I'm your resource. My name's Forrest. I invest in stuff you should too. See you in the next one. Peace.